All right, here we have another equation that we're going to solve for x. All right, now there's x that shows up in different places, but that's okay. We're solving for a value of x that will make this entire equation balanced, okay? So the difference that we see now is that we have fractions, we have denominators here, all right? So the same principles apply. So we're just gonna go through this. Let's see, we have x plus 1 over 4. By the way, I think it is extremely helpful to make sure that if we have multiple terms in our numerators, that we put a parentheses around it, all right? That is a very important thing because it will make sure that we do all of our operations correctly. So I also can sometimes think of these as like seatbelts, all right? To just package these guys in. These terms in our numerator to know that they're all going to be bound together. It's really important to do that at the very beginning of a problem where we have multiple terms in a numerator. So the very first thing, step number 1, is if you see there's more than one term in a numerator when we're solving one of these problems, to put the entire numerator in parentheses. Step number 1, just do it right away. Just like you put your seatbelt on is the first thing you do when you get in a car. All right, so here we go, and I'm just going to rewrite it. 5 minus x over 4 equals 16 over 4. Okay, all right, now I want to get rid of the parentheses and make this entire left-hand side of the equation just into one fraction, okay? Now, when we're subtracting or adding fractions with like denominators, all right, I made it so that all of the denominators here were the same. We'll get to how we do these kinds of problems when the denominators are different, okay? But right now, for this next few videos, we're going to just keep these denominators the same. And so we can really concentrate on what's going on in the numerators, all right? So in this case, let's say that we had 4's in the denominators. Remember, when you're either adding or subtracting fractions, we add or subtract the numerators, but we always keep the denominators. So we keep the denominators, all right? If they're all the same denominator. In this case, they are. So what we're going to do is rewrite this like this. All over 4 equals 16 over 4. Okay? Do you see that because these are like denominators, we can keep the denominator, but then we subtract the numerators because this operation here is subtraction, okay? All right. So now we can do our distributing the negative, okay? So x plus 1, and then this negative right here is very important to know that if there is no number right here that's explicit, you can assume that it's a 1. Okay, so now we distribute this negative 1 to the 5 as well as to this negative x inside the parentheses. So negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. Negative 1 times negative x is positive x all over 4 equals 16 over 4. Now what we can do is combine like terms in our numerator, all right? So what do we have in our numerator that we can combine? Well, we have 2 like variables, 2 like terms. So x plus x is 2x. 1 minus 5, let's combine these guys. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Again, it's all still over 4, and the right-hand side is over 4. Okay? All right, so we're making progress on this. Now, remember, if we have more than one variable, well, more than one term in a numerator, remember to put it in parentheses, okay? Now, let's get rid of the denominators here. How can I get rid of the 4's? Well, why don't I multiply both sides by 4 over 1? Remember, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side because it's a equation, so I need to keep it balanced all the time. If I multiply by 4 over 1 on both sides, you see that this 4 and this 4 cancels out just to 1's. Same on this side. Good. So now what I can do is 2x minus 4 equals 16. Okay? Now I can do my inverse operations to get this to isolate this variable of x. Since I add 4 to one side, I need to add 4 to the other. So 2x equals 20. And then I divide both sides by 2. Remember, I can only undo multiplication with division. So I divide both sides by 2. 2 over 2 is 1. So that cancels out to 1. So it's like 1 times x. 1 times x is just x. And then 20 divided by 2 is 10. So our solution is x equals 10. And there you have it.